We're recording another car vlog slash podcast. I know you love it.
Right.
Jamie's like, oh great, I can't talk about anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you're going to be editing that.
Yeah. I'm not going to edit the shit that'll get him in trouble though. No. I'm going to hold it over his head ever so slightly.
You can't get me in trouble.
I don't.
Not as good as I can get myself in trouble.
So you know what? We might as well talk about this now and record it because I wanted to do a sit-down podcast discussion of this, but it's a better car conversation. It's it's weirdos in cars going hiking. So everybody says, topic is, to be fair, how glad are we there wasn't social media when we were in our 20s and 30s and Jamie was in his teens and preteens and 20s and 30s and doing stupid shit that nobody now, other than their word against ours, has any hardcore evidence of because it wasn't filmed.
Well, nothing can be the stuff of legend anymore because everyone has to photograph it. So
this is true.
It actually ruins the charm of good stories and the lore of yore. I'm of two minds of it because when I was younger was when it would have been more useful to me.
Yeah. Same.
And like the real functionalized social media didn't really come around until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. I mean, probably right around early 30s. So I just kind of passed that whole putting up a facade about your life or having to talk about and show every single thing that you do. But I feel like in my late teens and 20s, I probably could have, used it a lot more. I probably could have used it to an advantage more.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, it's like a grass is always greener thing because I was telling Jeremy, I think I might have told you this, like back in the day, we would go driving around the Wayne State campus with duct tape and a stapler and putting flyers up everywhere. Mm-hmm. And remember it was, okay, whose turn is it to drive all the way to Ann Arbor to drop off flyers?
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta be kidding. Yeah, the east side. And then you had to go to all the record stores and anywhere you could drop off flyers. Yeah. And then you had to email or contact the Metro Times. And then there was no electronic press kits and stuff. So it's like everything was we went to the Kinko's on the Wayne State campus.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And remember our big thing back in the day was the neon brights at Kinko's of the different papers. And we're like, well, we did green the last time and then we did pink. We did the yellow. The purple neon, the black print doesn't show up as good. Maybe we'll do the orange neon this time.
See,
and these were the decisions.
Red, that was to me, that's the hard part.
Yeah. Well, it was that neon red. They had two shades of neon red.
But we did ones that were just scarlet red too occasionally. I always thought those are the ones that looked the most gothy metal.
The
neon ones kind of had you looked like you're in Poison or something,
But my point is we would have to go
mostly neon
and then when we did the press kits, remember we would sit on the floor and we have to collate all of them.
Yeah,
we're here's our bio, here's some quote reviews, here's some
that's where it really comes down to it.
It was good times, but good times and memories, but at the same time, how many hours of our lives we lost doing all that. It was electronic press kit, zip file, send.
Yeah.
It's
the idea of having a Facebook profile or a profile on any social media that could be more that would be more informal is so much, because it's in a format that's supposed to be informal.
Yeah,
is so much better than the whole cringy press kit.
Yeah,
you do as some young band. It's not like it's even the best of them obviously don't have the slickness of some promotion, some promotional writer would do or something like that. So just That's another one of those things where social media would have been better.
Forget about the autographed photos. So
Oh,
your favorite club person can put them on the wall.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I mean, you know, there's like pros and cons. I mean, that's like memories that.
But that goes back to using it in a creative situation or using it in an specifically exploitative situation. I think what you're talking about, though, essentially asking is
the
in
original
your personal
question.
life, or just in general,
or even I mean,
well, like I said, I've never been into social media. So
Jeremy
it's never done me any harm, and it's never done me any good.
The only person we know who doesn't have any social media except for
I have an Instagram.
Yeah, and it's just for your knives. Like there's nothing about your life.
Not one single picture of me. On there.
Yep.
Well, my hand.
Your hand.
Yeah.
So your corpse husband.
Yes, my corpse husband.
Yeah. Except for now, everybody sees you. You should have been wearing a bag.
Well, actually, I mean, that's the stranger, because anytime my hand appears, my dominant hand is holding the camera. So.
Yeah, oh, that's true, yeah.
So it's only the stranger.
Yeah. Like, there's this guy, and there's this guy. I, for one, like, part of me is like, I almost wish some of the stuff I remember, I wish I had, like, videotaped or some, like, record of. But then I think there's probably more that I'm glad that I don't.
Well, you know what I do find interesting, though, and this has to be funny for like anybody that has a MySpace to go back to look at.
Oh my God, I went and looked at my MySpace the day before you guys came out.
Just so I remember this. Yeah. So with anybody with a MySpace to look back on, or Facebook to look back on, or even it's kind of funny with like Instagram, because it's a weird thing. Like if you happen to like look at some celebrity's Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And especially the ones that are on the younger side, and that have Instagrams that go back to before they were famous.
Yeah.
You know, it's the weirdest thing to see.
And YouTubers that have been
right. And if you're like
Instagram
really into the experience of kind of looking at it, it's kind of funny to like to go back and look and see like that period of time just before they were famous or when they were becoming famous, and kind of see sort of how their like level of openness changes.
Yeah.
You know?
I miss MySpace.
Yeah, I know.
MySpace I was never even.
What they did. It's kind of depressing. It's still up, but they redid it, and they reloaded a bunch of stuff. They went manually. They had teams of people manually uploading. Like, 3/4 of my photos are all gone now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of pissed because I thought it was always. I just assumed it would be there. It was always going to be there, But I found our band MySpace.
So why did they get rid of 3/4 of the photos?
I Googled a couple of stories and was reading about it, and they're like, because I guess the people who were uploading the pictures and re-uploading them to the new thing, I don't know what they were doing. They were just they just didn't care. They just picked like random photos for whatever reason.
Oh, crazy! That doesn't.
Yeah, and it's kind of upsetting because it's like there's a whole bunch of things that I had on there. Yeah. Luckily, I had gone before they did that. I had saved a bunch of them. But still, it's like, you know, I'm like, there's a lot missing.
Do you think MySpace will ever make a resurgence? Like with all of the talk about social media being intrusive and becoming bloated with its algorithms and its AI and stuff, do you think anybody at some point will just say, let's go back to the
days?
Yeah, to the like original intent of social media, which was just pure narcissism without functionalization.
I don't think so, and here's why. Because it's become so monetized that even if they did that, the monetization would seep over into that. Because honestly, when I joined Facebook, the only reason I did was it was the year that I left Michigan.
Right.
And I joined it. Remember when we had to move out of our house? We were staying at Jay and Dawn's, or Jay's house up the road. We had to stay at his brother's for a week or two until our house was ready. And that's when I joined Facebook. And I was like, let me start learning this. And I didn't even have a desktop. I just had my laptop. And I'm like, let me start learning this because, it's going to be like a way to at least stay in touch with some people. without calling people constantly or just sending emails or something. So that's when I first joined Facebook, and I was really like mega active in it. Was when I first moved out here, because I was sharing pictures of the house and the town and where we lived. And you guys, the pictures from the very first trip you guys came out on are on there. I have like your first trip.
I don't even remember that.
Jamie's back on MySpace. But the problem is, why I think it's hard to go back is they've sold Instagram and well, Facebook sucked up Instagram,
Right.
and they keep buying everything out. So now the people who are using it, like I want to say using it as a tool, are small business owners, independent business owners, bigger companies.
Right.
It's an advertising tool, and they're like,
Yeah.
why should we pay millions of dollars for TV ads when everybody's streaming everying? Number one. Nobody, like, who watches TV? Like, anyone? I mean, I don't know anybody who watches, like, the major networks, really.
Right.
And if they watch the network shit, it's on a streaming platform. Like, most of them, like, Angela does Apple TV. I have Sling. I don't even have the major networks because I don't care to, because I don't like anything on them. And I don't know, I mean, maybe, like, some of my older relatives, I don't know. You still have cable, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not for the major networks.
No, I know. I mean, I got rid of cable 2 years ago now. 2 years is January. So it's like...
or likely not going back to MySpace. Someone will invent a platform that is just narcissistic only. And it will start out small again as a reaction to Facebook.
Yeah.
The same way bands went back to cassettes, which was the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
What's that? Low quality, easily breakable?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Inherently short lifespan.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I just think too many like companies and corporations, they're using social media as purely an advertising tool.
Well, that was the whole problem idea all along.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, but to have it go backwards now that, like, it's already on that track, to say, can it go back to... I mean, people keep leaving in droves to other platforms.
Yeah, it's never going to go back to nothing, obviously.
Right, yeah. It's never going to go, like, reset to square one, let's go to the original MySpace days.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be a group of people who go rogue and retro and go, oh, screw it, let's all go back to, like... what if somebody started like a thing that was like what YouTube was when it started and tried to start it over again and did like a separate thing?
Well, there's people trying to do that.
They're trying to, but...
there's BitChute and Library and a couple of them. But problem is I've been to some of these. The problem is with a lot of them is that like BitChute, as of right now, still, completely uncensored. Yeah. Completely open.
It's like a free-for-all
platform.
It's a wild west.
It's a wild west, Yeah. But here's the
you see that how to cook human meat?
But the thing is that the thing about BitChute is that and I think it will actually at some point, but it needs to start drawing.
You were saying some people who
comedy and stuff like that. Comedy and stuff like that. I wouldn't even say conspiracy theorists, so to speak. It's just that everything that's on there right now, by necessity, of it being a pretty free speech platform, everything that's on there now is pretty serious type of stuff. It's heavy political stuff that Facebook and YouTube would basically censor. They would write it off as being depressing. But the thing is that,
or problematic,
right? The thing is that the platform needs to draw some of like those 2015 YouTubers that are edgy comedy to actually get people going there to like enjoy this. Right now it has one type of consumer, and those are the political people. they need to start drawing the politically incorrect people for it to really become the Wild West.
Because now it's like one-sided.
And they need more money because their friggin' phone app sucks. Their search system sucks. People aren't going to go use it. If you know.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Why am I bothering with this?"
I mean,
for like a bunch of like political people.
Well, you're gonna, obviously, you're gonna get a group of people that are gonna go there for the political content, right? And they're gonna make it part of their diet. But it would be nice to go there and get that, and then also get a suggestion of a cat with shoes on, you know, or because that's how you discover.
A rooster wearing pants.
Because that's the YouTube phenomena. Is it doesn't matter what you go to look up, you are eventually going to you see a dog dressed as an Ewok running towards the camera.
And a rooster wearing pants.
Or something or like,
or baby bats.
How many dry ice bombs can I build in 30 minutes,
So anyway, back
I don't even think you could say dry ice bomb on YouTube.
You can't say bomb.
Yeah.
Censor. Oops. Anyway, I just look at like, I made a lot of bad decisions in my youth, and I was a mess, and I, for one, I mean, I'm kind of glad I didn't have that platform, because that's why I said, like, I see, like, like, I just watched Trisha Paytas, and I go, if YouTube was around and social media was around when I was in my 20s, I would have been her 100%. Causing problems, being like problematic, being like just being reactionary, being
unhinged,
and like every little thing that like every 5 minutes that was setting me off, I would be recording it and uploading it, and it was I mean, it would just be and so I mean, I'm glad that I say I'm glad that me wasn't out there, but in a way, I almost wish it was now, just so people can see, like, people, how much people change.
Yeah,
but bring back paradise.
But do they change them?
But do they? No, they just go on good antidepressants.
I think in some ways, though, part of people being able to change is actually your past being able to disappear.
So like you're not comparing.
Because even your closest friends that knew you from so long ago, like they will actually, except for deep diving conversations about the past, will actually forget about the past.
Until you bring it up and you go, wow, you were a bitch.
Maybe not the existence of the story, but how it actually makes them feel, or how it makes them, how it influences how they deal with you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because if that's always around, then there's always this very real, tangible version of that out there that they might come upon, not even really wanting to, and then say, that's what.
And that's what so what makes me think about this especially is like, the houses, the creator houses, like the Hype House and the Sway House. Jamie doesn't know what we're talking about. That's okay. He doesn't want to know. He doesn't know, and he wants to say blissfully ignorant, and I recommend that. I recommend the blissful ignorance with all of those things.
I know about the Sweden House.
The Sweden House. Oh my God, we should start a creator house called the Sweden House, and nobody would get it except for like Detroiters. Anyway, wait, was that a nationwide chain, or was that?
Well, I think it's Midwest.
Midwestern. Yeah. Oh, Sweden House. Okay.
I don't know for sure.
They would probably sue us if we started a creator house called
Sweden House. Why not? If there's
none left.
If they ate their own food, they're dead.
Oh, okay. Look, Jurassic Park.
There's still some trust that can sue you, I'm sure.
Are you Googling Sweden House?
Googling Sweden House.
Oh my God. I look at like these, like Dobrik and all those guys, and like all these creators on TikTok and all like the houses that they create and all that shit. And I'm like looking at them going, yeah, I want to see where you guys all are in like 20, 30 years.
Well, it's funny.
There's a thing like, it's so amazing, it's so weird how many people we all even knew that have come and go out of our lives, either physically, like died,
Right.
or like met, or you just don't talk to anymore. They just kind of disappeared, and you don't like whatever happened to that guy.
Right.
Like, I mean, I was looking through some of those old pictures when I was like doing the retro thing, like looking at pictures. I'm like, I remember that
Dead.
this guy,
Dead.
but
Dead.
moved away,
Yeah.
never talked to him anymore. Dead, moved away, never talked to him anymore. Yeah, I mean, you just get to a point where, you know, like some people you just fall out of touch with or whatever, or they pass away, or they move away and pass away. But I'm just like looking at all these kids who they're so into themselves and what they're doing, and they're like, oh, my life is the hype house, my life is the sway house, my life is the this or that house. And I'm like, that's nice, Junior.
Well, you
check back with me when you're in your 40s. Let's see how many of those people are still your friends.
Well, that's true.
And that's the thing, like, they're doing it, like, you know, it's like how much of your friendship is real friendship and how much is for views.
Well, a lot of this stuff too is
yeah.
I mean,
you sound like a boomer and you're a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm saying
statements.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for the boomer statements. It's more like saying, like, I appreciate that we've been through all this shit together and we're still friends.
Well, that's a form of branding, though.
Yeah,
that works on that generation really
and
well.
on those platforms, on TikTok and on.
And it's in a lot of ways, it's never not existed. This is the reason that, like, let's say, like in the late '80s and everything, videos had gotten away from this like storyline night type narrative to just bands being shoving buddies and you know, on tour buses playing shows, and you know, and then there'd always have to be that live footage in the last third of it, you know, with them rocking out.
Don't forget spilling paint on you.
Right, spilling paint. And
80s
this
montage.
was all about. This was all of this was that type of thing where I think they kind of honed into, you know, people want to fantasize about having that type of influence. People want to fantasize about having that type of live out loud life.
Yeah.
You know, people want to fantasize about being part of something big like that. And I think that's the same with the hype house thing. You know, kids tune in and watch this because they want to imagine themselves, you know, being an influence on their friends, an influence on their peers, you know, having some sweet life.
Which is, I think what's so weird about that is I never was like that because we were like fringe, you know, like nobody is like goth, you know, nobody's like gothy like I was and like going, I want to have a big influence on everyone. It's like, no, nobody likes
most of your stories are your own stories anyways.
Yeah. I mean...
so, you know, even very big YouTubers, let's say that you know, they're influencing, you know, 20 million, or they have 20 million subscribers, and let's say they get, you know, they're getting like 4 or 6 million views, you know, for a video, you know, in the first week or whatever. You know, even that realistically, those are big numbers, and even that is such a small section of the world.
Oh yeah,
you know?
It's your little corner of the world, and it's like all the niche things. Like I said on YouTube, everybody who's in the drama community and the drama makeup community, it's their whole world, and they think everybody knows. And then I go, wait, here, let's do an example. Jamie, do you know who James Charles is?
Nope, don't care.
Do you know who Jeffree Star is?
Nope, don't care.
Do you know who Manny MUA is?
Yes.
You know him? You know Manny?
Sure.
You do not.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Who's Manny MUA?
They have that song, Oh Manny, how I love you, how I love you. It's all over the YouTubes.
Oh my God. Okay. Do you know who Ethan Klein is?
That one I do know.
You do? Yeah. You know H383?
No.
H3H3. That's his podcast.
I just know the name Ethan Klein.
Yeah, but is that just some guy in Detroit named Ethan Klein, or is that like the Ethan Klein?
All right. Anyways,
he's like, old Mr. Klein comes in the clinic for West Bloomfield.
My point is this: like, so, you can say to somebody.
My point is he doesn't know any of these people. Who I think, what do you mean nobody knows who all these people are?
Right, but even big ones that are
it's so, a small
even very big
YouTubers
where you can say, like, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people know who PewDiePie is, but in a lot of those situations, you could say, I mean, like freaking my mother knows who PewDiePie is, but does she know one single thing that he does, says, or anything about him? No, not really.
Yeah.
So
she just heard the name.
So yeah, there's that name recognition, and there's that actual like influence level, and those are two different things. But I mean, the bottom line is that even these very influential people in their medium and in their field, it's not a boundless.
Yeah. No, it's not like they're Tom Hanks. They're not Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
It's like you tell people who's Tom Hanks, and you're like,
you're bringing me to my point. Is what you're dealing with is basically new mediums are platforms that are producing intangibles, where sort of the art and media of the day past, there's at least a tangible product behind it. Now you can say their video content is tangible, but that's kind of not.
Influence is not tangible.
Well,
in a way, like you can't measure influence too much.
Well, what he's saying is that they're not like that video creators don't make timeless pieces of art, so to speak. Like you're not making a record, nobody's humming your song.
Gotcha.
And I know that a lot of these video influencers do make records, but nobody they're
right.
like they should.
They will, but no one in mass numbers is going to pull up a PewDiePie video in 20 years as someone would a song or a music video or an art piece or something like that. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying influences that are working in intangible mediums.
Well, I think it has to do a lot too with there's such a there's such a wide span of interest. There's such a broad spectrum of different interests on the internet, and I think that they capture they end up capturing very small cross sections of it. Because nobody's going to talk about everything. Nobody's going to know about everything.
Here's the trail. Sorry, we're at the trail.
Where do we park?
Here. This is it. I can't believe there's nobody here. It's like such a gorgeous day. We're going to have this thing all to ourselves. So we are at the High Knob Fire Tower Trail in Greentown, PA. And we're going to go climb up a mountainside for a mile and a half.
Yeah. Now, see, a bunch of hardworking people groomed and made this trail, and some internet dick's going to go on and YouTube it, and that's going to get the credit. And then I just proved my point. Mic drop.
Mic drop. I'm out. Okay, let's go hike.